Welcome to the EdVantage Show, your go-to destination for quality education, insightful commentary, and in-depth analysis on the most gripping topics, all for free on YouTube. Today, we're diving headfirst into a phenomenon that's reshaping the global workforce, the gig economy and the rise of side hustles. Picture a vast, intricate tapestry of opportunities spanning continents and industries, powered by millions of workers. This is the modern gig economy whereas traditional career paths are being rewritten and the very concept of work is evolving before our eyes. In this episode, we'll explore the origins of the gig economy, its current state, and where it's headed. We'll uncover how technological advancements, societal changes, and economic pressures have fueled this shift, and we'll discuss the opportunities and challenges that come with it. Whether you're curious about how this affects industries, impacts lives, or shapes the future of work and entrepreneurship, we've got you covered. Before we begin, if you find value in our content, please support us by liking and sharing this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful episodes. Let's get started. Let's start by rewinding to the late 1990s, a time when the internet was just beginning to reshape our world in profound ways. Picture a young software engineer named Craig Newmark launching a simple email distribution list for his friends in San Francisco. This humble beginning would evolve into Craigslist, one of the first platforms to democratize access to local gig opportunities. Craigslist's model was revolutionary. It provided a free, easily accessible platform for individuals to post and find jobs, goods, and services. This was the spark that would ignite a revolution in how we think about work, income, and career progression. The success of Craigslist paved the way for a new generation of digital platforms that would further facilitate gig work. In 2005, Etsy launched, providing a marketplace for artisans and crafters to sell their handmade goods directly to consumers. This platform empowered a new wave of creative entrepreneurs, allowing them to turn their hobbies into viable businesses. The following year saw the launch of Elance, which is now part of the freelance platform Upwork. Elance was one of the first major platforms dedicated to connecting freelancers with clients for various professional services. These early platforms laid the groundwork for what would become a global gig economy, demonstrating the power of technology to connect workers with opportunities beyond their local markets. As we fast forward to today, we find ourselves in a world where the gig economy has exploded into a multi-trillion-dollar phenomenon. According to a report by MasterCard, the global gig economy is projected to grow from $204 billion to more than $455 billion by 2023, which of course you know has passed, so we'll provide a resource in the description to check it out. A compound, and this gave a compound annual growth of 17.4%. This staggering growth is driven by a myriad of factors, including technological advancements, changing work preferences, and economic necessities. The proliferation of smartphones and high-speed internet has made it possible for millions of people to access gig work opportunities from virtually anywhere. In developed economies, many workers are choosing gig work for the flexibility and autonomy that it offers. While in developing countries, the gig economy is providing new avenues for economic participation and income generation. The COVID-19 pandemic has further accelerated this trend, as lockdowns and social distancing measures forced many businesses to adopt remote work models and rely heavily on freelance and contract workers. This shift has highlighted the resilience and adaptability of gig work arrangements, leading to many experts to predict that these changes will have a lasting effect on the labor market even after the pandemic subsides. To understand the technological underpinnings of the gig economy, we need to examine the role of digital platforms. These platforms serve as intermediaries connecting service providers, which are gig workers, with consumers or businesses. They utilize complex algorithms to match supply with demand, optimize pricing, and facilitate transactions. Let's take Uber as an example. Uber's platform uses machine learning algorithms to predict demand patterns, dynamically adjust prices through surge pricing, and effectively match drivers with riders. The algorithm takes into account numerous factors, including historical data, real-time traffic conditions, and even weather unique patterns to optimize the service. This level of algorithmic sophistication is not just unique to Uber, it's a hallmark of the successful gig economy platforms. For instance, Airbnb uses similar predictive models to suggest optimal pricing for the host, taking into account factors such as location, the seasonality, as well as any local events that are happening in the area. These algorithms are constantly learning and improving, analyzing vast amounts of data to make increasingly accurate predictions and recommendations. The use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in these platforms extends beyond just matching and pricing. Many platforms are now employing natural language processing to improve customer service through chatbots, using computer vision algorithms to verify user identities, and leveraging predictive analysis and analytics to forecast market trends and guide business strategies. Similarly, freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr employ sophisticated matching algorithms that consider a freelancer's skills, experience, ratings, and availability to connect them with suitable projects. These platforms often use natural language processing, or NLP, to analyze job descriptions and freelancer profiles, ensuring more accurate matches. The complexity of these matching algorithms cannot be overstated. They must balance multiple, often competing factors to create optimal matches. For instance, they might need to consider not just the skills required for a job, but also the budget constraints of the client and the preferred working hours of the freelancers, as well as the urgency of the project. These algorithms also need to account for more subjective factors, such as the communication style preferences of both parties or the cultural fit between the freelancer and the client organization. Moreover, these platforms are increasingly incorporating elements of gamification to incentivize desired behaviors from both freelancers and clients. This might include reward systems for completing projects on time, maintaining high ratings, or providing detailed feedback. The goal is to create a self regulating ecosystem that promotes high quality work and positive interactions between all parties involved. The technological infrastructure supporting the gig economy goes beyond just matching algorithms. Payment systems play a crucial role in facilitating transactions. Many platforms have integrated payment gateways that handle multi currency transactions, implement escrow services for larger projects, and manage complex payment structures like milestone based payments. These payment systems must be robust enough to handle high volumes of transactions across different geographies, while also being flexible enough to accommodate various payment methods preferred in different parts of the world. Security is paramount in these systems, with platforms implementing advanced encryption techniques, fraud detection algorithms, and compliance with international financial regulations. Blockchain technology is also making inroads in this space, promising to provide more transparent, secure, and efficient payment systems for gig workers. Some platforms are experimenting with cryptocurrency payments, which could potentially reduce transaction fees and enable near instantaneous cross border payments. The implementation of smart contracts on blockchain platforms could automate payment releases based on predefined conditions, reducing disputes and ensuring timely payments for gig workers. Now let's dive deeper into the impact of the gig economy on various industries. Take the hospitality sector, for instance. Airbnb has fundamentally altered the landscape of short term rentals. The platform's success lies not just in connecting hosts with guests, but in its use of data analytics to optimize pricing, improve user experience, and even predict and prevent potential issues ahead of time. Airbnb's smart pricing tool uses machine learning to analyze various factors, including location, seasonality, and local events, to suggest optimal pricing for the host. Now, this data-driven decision levels was made only previous to large hotel chains such as Marriott, Hilton, or anything like that, and they already had significant capital and resources to back it up. So this is what Airbnb brought new to the table. And now individual property owners could also compete on a more level playing field. So that means the impact of Airbnb extends beyond just the accommodation industry. It has created entirely new ecosystems of support services, from professional photography for listings all the way to property management companies specializing in short term rentals. The platform has also had significant effects on urban planning as well as housing markets in many cities. leading to debates about regulation and the balance between tourism and local housing needs. The Airbnb model has also inspired similar platforms in other areas of hospitality industries, from the dining, which is like Eat With, which allows people to host dinner parties for travelers or experiences. So that means an app or a platform like Get Your Guide, which connects travelers with local guides who can show you around and offer unique activities. And in the transportation sector, ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft have disrupted traditional taxi services. These platforms use sophisticated routing algorithms to optimize driver routes, reducing wait times and improving efficiency. They also employ predictive analytics to forecast demand and incentivize drivers to be in the right place at the right time. The impact of these platforms goes beyond just providing a more convenient transportation option. They've changed urban mobility patterns, influenced car ownership trends, and even affected public transit usage in some cities. The data collected by these platforms is incredibly valuable, providing insights into traffic patterns, urban movement, and consumer behavior that can inform city planning and policy decisions. The ride sharing model also has spawned numerous offshoots from food delivery services such as Uber Eats and DoorDash to last mile logistics solutions for e commerce. These platforms are not just changing how we move around cities, they're reshaping the very fabric of urban life. The professional services sector has also been significantly impacted by the gig economy. Platforms like TopTal cater to high skilled professionals using rigorous vetting processes and AI powered matching to connect top tier freelancers with complex projects. This has allowed even large corporations to tap into a global talent pool for specialized skills on an as needed basis. The implications of this shift are profound. Companies can now scale their workforce up or down rapidly in response to market conditions, accessing specialized skills without the long term commitment of traditional employment. This flexibility can lead to significant cost savings and increased agility for businesses. For professionals, these platforms offer the opportunity to work on diverse, challenging projects for clients around the world, often at higher rates than they might command in their local markets. However, this model also raises questions about job security, benefits, and the long term career prospects for workers who rely primarily on gig work. The gig economy in professional services is not limited to technology and creative fields like graphic design and digital marketing. We're seeing similar platforms emerge in areas like legal services, such as Axiom, and management consulting like Catalant, and even healthcare, such as Nomad Health for travel nurses. This trend is blurring the line between traditional employment and freelance work, creating a new category of hybrid workers who may balance full time roles with side gigs or move fluidly between different work arrangements over the course of their careers. So another interesting aspect to think is from the perspective of a high school or college student. So they can now work part-time while being a full-time student to make some income on the side. So they can start side hustling and try to make some income on the side. So that's another thing to think about. It's blurring the line. So you don't have to just do one or the other. You can try and do both. And the gig economy is also reshaping the nature of the work itself. So that means the concept of a job for life is becoming increasingly obsolete. Instead, we're seeing the rise of some experts, and this is what they call the portfolio career, where individuals they start to juggle multiple gigs, and this means that they can continuously update their skills to remain competitive in the market. So that means this shift is having profound implications for educations and skill set developments. That means traditional educational models designed to prepare workers for long term careers in specific fields, they're struggling to keep up with the pace with rapidly changing demands of the gig economy. We're seeing a move towards more modular, flexible forms of education that allow individuals to acquire specific skills quickly. Coding boot camps, for instance, have emerged as a popular alternative to traditional computer science degrees, offering intensive short term training on a high demand programming skills. Similarly, platforms such as Udacity, you might have heard of this one, it's like the one that offers courses, and they offer what's called a nano degree. And this is with collaboration with tech companies and this ensures that the skills taught are directly applicable to current industry needs. This shift towards continuous lifelong learning and is not just a necessity for workers in the gig economy, but it's becoming a competitive advantage. So those who can quickly adapt to new technologies and market demands are best positioned to thrive in this new world of work. So that means just being able to be good at a specific skill for your entire life isn't now the now or never or the ride or die. Now companies and gig work employers want you for being able to adjust to the new world and adapt. So that means the half-life of skills is shrinking rapidly, particularly in tech-related fields. According to the World Economic Forum, 2 years ago, no less than 54% of all employees will require significant reskilling and upskilling. This has given rise to a booming market for online courses and what's called a micro-credential and alternative forms of education. Platforms such as Coursera, edX, and Udacity offer massive open online courses and nano degrees off which allow individuals to acquire new skills quickly and affordably. These platforms are not just providing content, leveraging technology to create more effective learning experiences. And adaptive learning technologies, for instance, use data analytics as well as machine learning to try and personalize the learning experience for each student. These systems, can identify areas where a student is struggling and they can provide additional resources or alternative explanations. They can also accelerate the learning process for students who are grasping concepts quickly, ensuring that each learner is challenged at the appropriate level. Virtual and augmented reality technologies are also being incorporated into online learning, allowing for immersive hands on experiences in fields ranging all the way from surgical training to automotive repair. As these technologies continue to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative approaches to skill development and credentialing in the gig economy. These educational platforms often use adaptive learning technologies to personalize the learning experience. For example, Newton's adaptive learning platform uses probabilistic graphical models to analyze student performance data and tailor content delivery to individual learning styles and paces. This level of personalization was previously impossible in a traditional educational setting, but it's becoming increasingly common in online learning environments. The implications of this shift extend beyond just individual learners. Employers are now beginning to recognize the value of these alternative credentials, with some companies even partnering with online learning platforms to create custom training programs for their workforce. And education and work, the line between those two are starting to blur as they're starting to merge into one, as they can start juggling multiple at once now. And with learning becoming an ongoing integral part of one's career, meaning that now it's not just doing the straightforward work, it's not just arriving at 9 and doing something until 5 and going home. Now, part of your job is learning new skills while on the go because the skills that are in demand are changing. And as the gig economy is continuing to evolve, we can expect to see more innovation in the space with newer models of skill verification and credentialing emerging to meet the needs of a rapidly changing job market. The gig economy is also driving innovation in productivity or collaboration tools. So, the YouTube channel by the YouTuber Ali Abdal might have talked about these productivity tools, but project management platforms like Asana and Trello have become essential for coordinating distributed teams. Communication tools such as Slack and Microsoft Teams facilitate real time collaboration across different time zones. So, someone in Pacific, Eastern, and Central Time Zone, as well as someone in Asia in the Southern Hemisphere, can all connect using these productivity tools, as that's what is in demand now. And more of these tools we're seeing are starting to integrate AI powered features such as the natural language processing for with the creation of tasks. So in a project management tool, if the manager puts a new task, now artificial intelligence is starting to ease the work by giving ideas on how to efficiently write tasks and manage them. So, and the sentiment analysis for team morale is starting to also go up in AI monitoring. That means the sophistication of these tools has to be constantly increasing. For instance, some project management tools now use machine learning algorithms to predict the project timelines and potential bottlenecks based on historical data. That means the machine learning can use previous data to now predict the time zones, or sorry, the timelines of when it would be finished, as well as some bottleneck obstacles that can come in. Now, time tracking tools can automatically categorize tasks and generate detailed reports on how time is being spent, providing valuable insights for both workers and clients. As remote work becomes more prevalent, we're also seeing innovations in virtual office environments. Platforms like Sakoko and Gather create virtual spaces where team members can move around and interact as they would in a physical office. And this helps foster a sense of community as well as spontaneous collaboration in teams that are distributed. These tools are not just facilitating work, they're reshaping how we think about workplace culture and team dynamics in a digital age. However, the gig economy is not without its challenges. One of the most significant issues is the classification of workers. As gig workers and employees, are they dependent are they independent contractors? So that means there's a debate saying, are the people who do gig work, are they full-time, are they should they be considered as employees by an employer, or are they independent contractors? So that means this question has raised significant legal as well as financial implications. In the United States, for example, the Department of Labor has proposed a new rule for classifying workers, which could have far-reaching effects on this economy. The rule proposes a multi-factor test that considers the worker's opportunity for profit or loss. That means the degree of control exercised by the employer, as well as the permanency of the working relationship, among other factors, are taken into consideration. This issue is not unique to the US. Countries around the world are grappling with how to classify and regulate gig work. In the United Kingdom, for instance, a Supreme Court ruling in 2021 classified Uber drivers as workers, entitling them to a minimum wage and holiday pay. These regulatory challenges highlight the tension between the flexibility that many gig workers value and the protections traditionally associated with employment. As the gig economy continues to grow, we can expect to see that there's going to be many more ongoing debates, as well as policy changes and in-policy debates aimed at striking a balance between these competing interests. Another technical challenge is data privacy and security. Gig economy platforms collect vast amounts of personal and financial data, making them potential targets for cyber attacks. Many platforms are investing heavily in cybersecurity measures, including end-to-end encryption, multi-factor authentication, and advanced anomaly detection systems. The challenge is not just in protecting data from external threats, but also in ensuring that platforms themselves use the data responsibly. Issues of data ownership and portability are becoming increasingly important, with some arguing that workers should have more control over the data they generate on these platforms. This could include the ability to transfer reputation scores or work history between platforms, which could increase the competition and reduce worker dependence on any single platform. As regulations like the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation are becoming more common, the gig economy platforms will need to adapt their data practices to comply with evolving privacy standards as well as expectations. Looking to the future, several emerging technologies are poised to further transform the gig economy. Artificial intelligence and machine learning will continue to improve matching algorithms, potentially predicting market demands and guiding gig workers towards the most lucrative opportunities in real time. We might see AI assistants that help gig workers manage their schedules, negotiate rates, and even complete certain tasks autonomously. Natural language processing could enable more sophisticated voice-based interfaces, making it easier for gig workers to manage their tasks hands-free. This could be particularly beneficial for gig workers in fields like transportation or home services, where hands-free operation can improve safety and efficiency. As AI systems become more advanced, we might even see them taking on more complex gig work tasks, potentially working alongside human gig workers, or even competing with them in certain areas. This raises important questions about the future of work and the skills that will be most valuable in an increasingly automated gig economy. Virtual and augmented reality technologies could open up new frontiers for remote work. Imagine a world where a freelance architect in Mumbai can collaborate with a construction team in New York City in a shared virtual space, and this manipulates 3D models in real time. Companies like Spatial are already developing augmented reality workspaces that allow for immersive remote collaboration. These technologies have the potential to revolutionize fields like design, engineering, and education, enabling new forms of hands-on experimental learning and work that transcend physical boundaries. In the medical field, for instance, augmented reality could allow specialist surgeons to guide procedures remotely, expanding access to expert care. In the realm of customer service, virtual reality could enable more personalized, immersive support experiences. So that means you can get this kind of support from home with the technology that keeps changing. And as these technologies mature, we can expect to see entirely new categories of gig work emerge, from virtual event planners to AR experience designers. The integration of haptic feedback technologies could further enhance these virtual interactions, allowing for a sense of touch and physical presence in digital spaces. This could open up new possibilities for remote work in fields that traditionally required physical presence, from massage therapy to physical therapy. The Internet of Things could create entirely new categories of gig work. As smart cities become a reality, we might see gig workers managing and maintaining networks of connected devices. The rollout of 5G networks are starting to enable these IoT applications, providing the high speed, low latency connectivity required for real time data processing and control. Imagine gig workers serving as on demand technicians for smart home systems or data analysts, interpreting the vast amounts of information generated by IoT sensors in urban environments. The proliferation of IoT devices could also lead to new forms of micro work where individuals perform small, discrete tasks for AI systems that are managing larger networks of devices. This could include tasks like verifying anomalous sensor readings or providing human oversight for automated systems. As the line between the physical and digital worlds continues to blur, we may see the emergence of hybrid gig workers who specialize in bridging these two realms, managing the interface between smart systems and the physical environment. Blockchain technology holds promise for creating more transparent and efficient systems for gig workers. Smart contracts could automate payments based on completed milestones, reducing payment disputes and ensuring timely compensation. This could be particularly beneficial for international gig work, where currency conversion and cross border payments can often be costly and time consuming. Blockchain could also enable more secure and portable digital identities for gig workers, allowing them to carry their reputation and work history across different platforms. This increased portability could foster greater competition among platforms and give workers more leverage in negotiating terms. Decentralized autonomous organizations could even give rise to worker owned platforms, potentially addressing some of the equity concerns in the current gig economy model. Imagine a ride sharing platform owned and operated by its drivers, or a freelance marketplace where the rules and fee structures are determined by a democratic process among its users. These blockchain based systems could fundamentally alter the power dynamics in the gig economy, shifting more control and value capture to the workers themselves. The rise of the gig economy is also having profound effects on urban planning and development. As more people embrace flexible work arrangements, we're seeing changes in commuting patterns, housing preferences, and the use of public spaces. Co working spaces have proliferated in cities around the world, catering to gig workers and remote employees who seek a professional environment outside the traditional office. These spaces often serve as hubs for networking and collaboration, fostering local communities of independent workers. Some cities are even experimenting with remote work visas to attract digital nomads, recognizing the economic potential of these mobile knowledge workers. This trend could lead to significant shifts in urban demographics and economics, potentially revitalizing smaller cities and rural areas that can offer a high quality of life at a lower cost than major metropolitan centers. At the same time, it raises questions about the future of central business districts and the commercial real estate market in large cities. Urban planners and policymakers will need to adapt to these changing patterns, potentially re-imaging and reimagining city centers as mixed-use spaces that blend work, leisure, and residential functions. The gig economy is also influencing the financial services industry. Traditional financial products and services designed for people with steady, predictable incomes, often fall short of meeting the needs of gig workers with variable earnings. This has led to the emergence of new fintech solutions tailored to the gig economy. Some companies are developing AI powered budgeting tools that can help gig workers manage irregular income streams. Others are offering specialized insurance products that provide coverage on a per gig basis rather than through traditional long term policies. We're also seeing innovations in lending, with some financial institutions developing new models for assessing creditworthiness that take into account the unique income patterns of gig workers. As the gig economy continues to grow, we can also expect to see further innovations in the space, potentially including new forms of social safety nets and retirement planning tools designed specifically for independent workers. The globalization of this economy is another trend worth exploring in depth. Digital platforms are enabling workers in developing countries to access global markets for their skills, potentially leapfrogging traditional development pathways. A programmer in Nigeria or a graphic designer in Indonesia can now compete for projects from clients around the world, often earning far more than they could in their local job markets. This has the potential to drive economic development and reduce global inequality, but it also raises concerns about labor arbitrage and the potential for exploitation. As the global gig workforce grows, we may see the emergence of new forms of worker organizations and advocacy groups that transcend national boundaries. This could play a crucial role in setting global standards for gig work and ensuring fair treatment of the workers, regardless of their location. The physical impact of the gig economy is an area that deserves more attention. While many workers appreciate the flexibility and autonomy of the gig work, others struggle with the lack of stability and the constant pressure to secure the next job. The blurring of work life boundaries can lead to stress and burnout, particularly for those who feel compelled to always be on and available. On the other hand, the ability to choose one's projects and work environment can lead to greater job satisfaction and a sense of purpose. As the gig economy matures, we may see more emphasis on mental health support and work life balance strategies tailored to the unique challenges of independent work. This could include the development of AI powered tools for managing workload and preventing burnout, or the emergence of new forms of community support networks for gig workers. The environmental implications of the environmental implications of the gig economy is another thing that is worth considering. On one hand, the rise of remote work and digital services could lead to reduced commuting and lower carbon emissions. On the other hand, the on demand nature of many gig economy services could increase energy consumption and waste. For example, the proliferation of food delivery services has led to concerns about increasing package waste and traffic congestion. As environmental concerns become more pressing, we may see the gig economy platforms incorporating sustainability metrics into their operations, potentially incentivizing eco friendly practices among their workers and users. Education and training in the gig economy era will likely continue to evolve rapidly. We may see the emergence of gig universities that offer highly flexible modular education programs to help workers continuously update their skills. Augmented and virtual reality technologies can enable more immersive, hands on training experiences, even for complex and technical skills. AI powered personalized learning systems can adapt in real time to each student's progress, optimizing the learning process. We might also see closer integration between education providers and gig economy platforms, with courses and credentials directly linked to work opportunities. The work of future and the future of work is the gig economy, and this is likely to be characterized by an increasing automation and human AI collaboration. As AI systems become more advanced, they may take over certain types of gig work entirely, but they also might create new opportunities in areas that require human creativity, emotional intelligence, and complex problem solving skills. We may see the emergence of hybrid jobs that involve humans working alongside AI systems, each leveraging their unique strengths. This could lead to new forms of gig work focused on training, managing, and augmenting AI systems. As the gig economy continues to evolve, it will likely have far reaching effects on social structures, economic systems, and even geopolitics. It could lead to a reimagining of social safety nets, perhaps, though, the implementation of universal basic income programs or potential benefit systems. It might necessitate new approaches to taxation and economic measurement, as traditional metrics like GDP and unemployment rates have become less relevant in a gig driven economy. On a global scale, the ability of workers to participate in the worldwide gig economy could reshape patterns of migration and economic development. In conclusion, the gig economy represents a fundamental shift in the nature of work, driven by technological innovation and changing social values. While it offers unprecedented flexibility and opportunities for many, it also presents significant challenges that society will need to address. As we move forward, the key will be to harness the potential for the gig economy while also ensuring that it develops in a way that is sustainable, equitable, and beneficial to all stakeholders. The future of work is being rewritten now, and each of us has the opportunity to shape it. Whether you're a gig worker, a platform developer, a policymaker, or simply an interested observer watching this show or listening to this episode, your engagement with these issues will help determine the course of this economic revolution. The gig economy is not just changing how we work, it's changing how we live, learn, and interact with the world around us. As we navigate this transformation, we must strive to create a future of work that enhances human potential, fosters innovation, and contributes to the well being of individuals and communities around the globe. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The EdVantage Show. If you find value in our content, please support us by liking and sharing this video, as well as subscribing to our YouTube channels for new episodes on the most gripping topics every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next week.